Hello, good morning, happy Monday. Welcome to week 4 of the vlog. I don't know, last week was such a write-off for me. If you've seen and watched last week's vlog, you know that I was experiencing a lot of pain. I had period cramps, I had migraines towards the end of the week, and so I didn't vlog, and that's okay. And I want to be really real on these vlogs, and that's the whole purpose of me starting them, to give you a bit more of an insight into my life and what I have to deal with. And so take this and last week's vlog as a reminder for you to slow down, for you to rest if you need to rest, for you to look after your body first and foremost before picking up your phone. And that's a reminder for me as well as for you, because it doesn't always happen. And the times where I realise I've actually gone to scroll on my phone and start work before I've eaten breakfast, I'm so disappointed with myself. But then I'm very kind to myself as well. Remember, it's an addiction. So if you're watching this and you haven't eaten breakfast yet, go eat breakfast. You can watch it whilst you're eating breakfast, but just go eat breakfast. This week is going to be a heavy book writing week. I don't have any major plans apart from this weekend where I'm celebrating my friend running a half marathon, which is so cool. So that's really exciting. But this week is just the focus on the book writing and what I want. Oh my gosh. Stop, that was crazy. Okay, we're back. I don't know what happened there. The suction on my phone holder went. Let's hope it stays now. So I'm going to be talking to you about what it really takes to get a book published, some tips for getting a book published, and the one thing that people don't realize makes a good writer. And it's probably not something that you would expect me to say. So that is all coming up this week. I'm going to be taking you really deep into my book writing journey. You're going to be following me now for the next couple of vlogs to my deadline, which is the end of next month. So this really is crunch down time. And I want to do some reflecting, and I want to talk about the journey that it took me to get to this point. But first of all, let's go grab me a matcha and get outside for a little walk before I sit down to write for hours. It is so sunny today. Ah, that's sun. Thank you. I moved from my desk to my sofa and it's now 10 to 6. I don't know how this happens. I do not know. I don't know how many words I've written today. I don't think it's a lot, but it's a good chunk. But I've mostly been pottering, scrolling my phone, and just sort of sitting here researching some stuff as well, because I'm at the stage of, I'm on the final leg now, so a lot of the work I'm doing is research and checking that I've got the right quotes and the right references, and I'm making little lists in my book as well of like disabled influencers to follow and charities to look for and grants to apply for. So all of that requires a lot more research. So the words aren't really coming very quickly, but the research and the finalizing of the book is coming along nicely at the minute. I'm about to cook dinner now, and then I will see you tomorrow where I will be talking more about book publishing and the things that I've done to get to where I am today. Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. So today I am heading out to Cafe Nero to go meet my friend Laura. So instead of having a sofa book writing day, I'm having a co-working day. She's going to do some of her work, I'm going to do some of mine. I'm going to have a really nice, cute little day. I will insert a little video of my outfit of the day because I've just filmed that for my Instagram. Yeah, I'm excited. I just need to get some words written because yesterday I was writing, but it just didn't feel like I got a lot done. Yeah, let's go. Happy Wednesday, everyone. So, yesterday I spent the whole day co working with Laura, and then I came home, had some dinner, and went straight off to dance. So, I didn't really get a chance to vlog or speak to you much, but I am back today. It's nearly 4 p.m., and I have been at another co working event today with a co work company called Co Work and Cake, and it was a really good time. I met the owner, and she was just really, really lovely. And so I've been there this morning working on my book. In the past week, I've done over 5,000 words on the book and a lot of editing and researching. So I'm really, really happy with my progress. And as promised, I wanted to talk to you all a bit about the most common questions that I get when it comes to writing, publishing, getting a book deal, and some of the things that have helped me along this journey. So, first of all, a lot of people always ask me about how long the process is, and I started writing my first book, which is the one that I originally pitched 6 years ago. Now, that book is a memoir, and the company that I am publishing with at the minute said they didn't want a memoir, but they really liked my writing style. So they wanted me to write a similar book with the context of disability, just not a memoir. So instead, I'm writing a guidebook for people with visible disabilities instead of my own experience. I signed the contract last October, and I said that I wanted only a year to finish this book. So this has been obviously a bit of a short process than the one before that, but the one before that I was pitching, getting rejections, and maintaining my other writing business at the same time. So it wasn't just constant book writing. But as you know, if you're a writer, you've probably got another project or another side hustle or your main job alongside your creative stuff as well. The second question that I get asked a lot is like, how do you even go about getting a publisher? And I mean, this is something that I learned over the years of doing my own research and communicating with coaches, mentors, and subscribing to freelance magazines, email subscriptions, Substacks. I still pay for a couple of Substacks and email newsletters that I get that give really good information about journalist jobs and writing opportunities, and I always recommend going to them. I will put some of them up on the screen here so you can go and find them. But in terms of getting a publisher, because I had a very good and obvious niche being my visible disability, I thought that it would be a hindrance, but actually I found that it was easier because there are specific agencies and publishers who are just looking to represent people with differences and marginalized voices, and that was really beneficial for me to be able to seek out, and just really affirming as well. And I think, you know, if you are from a marginalized background, don't let that dishearten you. The publishing industry is rife with white men. And so I think that is why a lot of people now want to capture marginalized voices and tell their stories, because it's something different for people to read. And that obviously sells, but also like our voices deserve to be heard as well. I think when you're going into writing and particularly creative endeavors, people often forget that it's still a business. It's still a business. Publishers, agencies, the people who work at these places, they still have to make money, and that's okay. Just because they are looking at it from that perspective doesn't mean that they also don't support you and want to represent different voices for the purpose of uplifting them and empowering them. It just means that if you can also think in the mind of a publisher and what's going to make them money when you're writing your book proposal and when you are pitching yourself and selling yourself, you're going to have more of a chance and an opportunity to be accepted because you're already thinking and speaking in their language. So how do you get a publisher? It's a really broad question, and my advice would be to have a niche, think like a publisher, like a business, treat your writing like a business, and send a shit ton of emails, do a shit ton of research in your specific niche, and find someone that can represent you and what you're writing about. Another question that I get asked a lot, and one that I got asked yesterday by my friend Laura is, do you ever get creatively blocked or writer's block, or things just don't come and don't flow? And the answer to that question is no. I used to get that a lot, and what it came down to is my little bit of advice that I'm saving for the end of this week, because it is something that has come up time and time and time again in my writing coaching business, where I've helped other writers get through their own blocks, and something that not many people realize is a really big component to writing, but that's going to come later. So in terms of getting creatively blocked, I don't, because I'm no longer insecure about the quality of my writing, even if the quality of my writing isn't very good. I don't care if I write badly. I'm not writing to get published anymore. I'm not writing for external approval anymore. I'm writing for the thing that it does to me here and here and here. I really didn't think that I was a good writer. And then when I realized that you don't actually have to be that good, you just have to be willing to put yourself out there, everything changed. Because I still didn't believe that I was good when I got the email that said, yeah, we want to work with you. And that external proof didn't change the way that I felt. It just made me realize that it doesn't matter how I feel. What matters is that I'm honoring my creativity and that I'm putting myself out there. And it's the same with these vlogs. I've had the thing in my head of like, I don't think that I'm very good, blah, 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 blah. But I have to remember the external validation, just like with my writing, isn't going to change how I feel. And actually how I feel doesn't matter. What matters is, do I enjoy doing this? Yes. And once you've got past that external validation and got into like, okay, I feel really good, I feel really accomplished, I'm really proud of what I've written, even if it's shit, I'm just proud of the fact that I've written it, I'm just proud of the fact that I've posted this, then everything gets better. That's the end of my questions for today. I hope these answers have given you what you needed. Stick around to the end of the video to see what I have to say about the one thing that has come up time and time and time and time and time again, that once you crack, really, really enables you to your creativity to pour like wild. And the rest of today, I am just going to be working and writing. So come and join me for that. Guys, it's editing Emily here, and I'm just on this video, and you can probably guess how far in the future it is based on the fact that my fringe is completely grown out and my hair is very faded and my roots are also really grown out. So when I was filming this video, it was such a heavy book writing week that I never got the chance to come back to you and tell you what the magical piece of writing advice was that will help you really channel and be able to express your creativity in the most confident and proud way, where you will just be spilling everything out. So I am here to give you that little piece of advice. So for the past couple of years, I have been working as a writing mentor, and I still facilitate a wonderful space at the minute with a charity. But the one thing that was consistently coming up in my mentorship sessions with my writing clients and in my Healing Through Writing course, which is a course that is available now to do at a self-paced level, and you can buy that online. Please go check out my blog Healing Through Writing on Substack for more information on that. The one thing that kept coming up was this fear of the page, and particularly fear of exposure, visibility and vulnerability. And that all makes perfect sense, right? Because when you're writing, a lot of this stuff really is personal to you. Essentially what I'm saying is that it's such a vulnerable process, and that's what was halting people. It was stopping them from really allowing themselves to fully express themselves. And the more that I've thought about this, and because a couple of months have passed, I am delayed at editing and uploading this video.
I've had time to think, and there are actually 2 things that are really, really important to say here. So please also get a notepad, write this down, because these things are really, really going to help to catapult your creative process. So the first thing is to really try and remove the judgment from the things that you are writing. And now the way that you do this is that you allow yourself to write in a really incoherent, messy, chaotic way. You never have to share that, you never have to publish that. Allow yourself to write badly. Allow yourself to go into your writing process and not compare yourself to a finished book. Like, yeah, you may want to write a book, but if you can't allow yourself to initially write that badly before you go over it and edit it, then that's going to really halt and delay your process in getting it published. What the best writers do is that they don't apply judgment to their first draft, or their second draft, or their third draft, or their fourth, and so on. This can be a really sticky thing to move through, removing judgment from your work, because it is so ingrained in us, especially if we want to publish a book or be a professional writer. We want to write well, we want to write coherently, but the trick is to first allow yourself to not do that. And that might be hard to work at, but that is really, really what I've spent the last couple of years working with people to help them move through that. And once they do, the words start flowing a lot easier. One of the things that I used to do with my clients as well was to get them to separate that non-judgmental writing space from their more structured writing space. So it could look like perhaps having a 20-minute timer on, opening your journal and just writing the first thing that comes into your head, and just keep your pen moving, no judgment, no filter. Write the things that maybe you don't even believe, or that you think, oh, like that's coming up in me, but actually that's making me uncomfortable. Instead of trying to avoid that, write it down, because it doesn't mean that it's true when you write it down. It doesn't mean that it's you either. So by removing that judgment, you remove and separate yourself from the words that you're writing down, which is my next point that I want to add on to that, of seeing yourself as separate from the work you produce. Another huge mountain to overcome. And again, what I see a lot of writers and a lot of creative people do is they get really, really attached to their work and almost like tie up their own identity with the words that they've written down. And that's why we judge ourselves. That's why we are scared to publish, because if we're really holding this one piece of work that actually only represents our writing over like an hour's work of writing, or a day of writing, or a week of writing, 1 week out of our whole lives does not represent who we are. And so it really is learning how to separate yourself from the words that are written down. And usually when you get past the stage where you allow yourself to be a bit messy and you can be a bit more unfiltered and learn how to not be such a perfectionist on the page, once your words are down and you're looking at them, it is easier to see yourself as separate from them, and that this isn't you, or this doesn't represent you, because it is something that is separate from you. If you can see that, your words on the page, and look at them and think, oh, that was my brain last week. We're always changing. So your brain last week and what you wrote last week is probably not going to be the same as what you write this week. And that's something as well that will help you get over that fear of getting things out of your brain and onto the page. So I'm going to repeat that quickly. The first thing is to remove judgment, whatever that looks like for you. Scheduling a time for unfiltered writing, allowing yourselves to be messy, maybe even allowing yourself to publish something that you don't quite like, and seeing the reaction to it as well, and realizing that actually people don't really care. And then the second thing is separating yourself from your writing and from the work that you put out into the world, and knowing that that doesn't represent you. So when you get a bad comment, or when you read it back and you're like, oh, you know, this isn't who I am now, you can actually understand that actually, yeah, of course it isn't who you are now, because it was just one piece of writing that you put out into the world. And then that really helps you as well, like, know that you are the vessel, you are not the art. And it's been those two things that have really helped the people that I've worked with, and also have been such an instrumental part of my process as well in getting my writing out there. That is the end of the video this week, and I'll see you next week for more. Make sure to subscribe, and if you're following along with the vlogs so far, let me know which one is your favourite one in the comments, or let me know what you want to hear more of from me. Bye.